Hello everyone, nice to be back for another episode of EQ Smart. So last time I started to talk to you about your day and how you can change it, like having a 10 out of 10 day. And I just want to find out if you managed to think of that a bit, like what could you implement to change in a positive way, and what did you maybe think of what you don't want to do in that day to have a better day. So some of you mentioned to me, like in this week, that it was quite difficult to have a 10 out of 10 day because there was like stress coming up and one couldn't always be so positive, so that was quite difficult. So I want to speak a little bit about that, about stress. So many years ago, that word stress didn't actually exist. Even though we always had a stress factor inside of us, the word stress per se didn't exist. So what is actually happening inside of us is that when we're stressed, the stress hormone cortisol goes up and adrenaline goes up as well. So then in the old days, we would be in front of the lion and we would have to react and go into a fight-flight mode. And nowadays we don't do that much anymore. The problem is that the cortisol stays up and we don't really work it down. The interesting fact is that if we have high cortisol, our IQ scores are affected as well, which means that if you, for instance, have an average IQ of 100, which is a perfectly functioning IQ, in that time that you're really stressed, upset, angry, all of those increase your cortisol, then what happens is that your IQ score can drop down 30 points. So then you would theoretically have an IQ of 70. And if I look at my chart, 70 basically means borderline mentally retarded. So that's not really cool when we are not concentrating well, not functioning well, not making good decisions and not thinking straight to then be in that space. So that sometimes then hinders us to feel more positive and to be more in control. What should be done is to have a little bit of time out, give your brain a little bit of a breather so that we're not reacting from that stress area. So the stress area in the brain is here in the back. That's our limbic system. And the limbic system is your older part in the brain, and that's where our emotions are. So when you're really stressed, your frontal lobes that are responsible for making decisions, being positive, being rational, concentrating, that part here actually sort of goes up. It's numbs down, so to say, and then we react from our limbic system. So it's important to calm down, to take a breather every now and then, even if it's like 3-4 times a day. Take a breather, calm down, think of all the things that are working well, look at all your facts, and then you'll be able to use your frontal lobe again because it has calmed down, which means you can be more factual and you can implement much better things like concentration, decision making, and so on. So what I would like you to do is to take a breather every now and then in the day. Maybe have a glass of water, think some happy thoughts so that your prefrontal cortex, your front, can calm down so that you can carry on and feel more de-stressed and happier. So please implement that and look out for another episode next week. Jenna, my colleague, is going to tell you more about stress. Have a lovely week.